Hey everyone, I would like to pose a topic this week, get your input about it. I would like to chat a little bit about free draw. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you scared of it? How do you feel about scheduling free draw time for children in art? I personally am a huge fan, and I'd love to explain why I'm a huge fan and sort of share how I set up free draw time in my space. But I would also love to hear your feelings, and do you call it something else? Do you set it up totally differently? Please don't hesitate to listen to what I have to say, but then be honest and speak your mind about how you feel about it too, if you're willing. Okay, so here's how I use it. I try to include one or two 30-minute free draw sessions per quarter. So I see kids once a week. So a quarter is 9 weeks long. So in every 9-week window for me, I try to include 1 or 2 30-minute dedicated free draw days. 30 minutes I find to be an ideal time because it keeps the kids, it's like not too much, not too little, but it keeps it kind of concise and keeps the kids wanting more. So there's kind of the novelty of it doesn't get lost in there. You don't want to let it linger for too long, or you don't want them getting bored with free draw time. I include in that 30 minutes setup, cleanup, and a quick share what you made option. So it's packed in. I offer a very humble selection of supplies and literally 2 pieces of copy paper. That's it, copy paper. Markers, crayons, color pencils, scissors, glue sticks, and rulers. That's it. For my older kiddos, 2nd and higher, I also put an iPad at every table. And I do that. I don't like to do it for the little guys because I want them really kind of getting into the practice of listening to their own interests and kind of their inner voice about what they want to make art about, and they seem quite content to do that. The older kiddos seem hungry for drawing tutorials, and I don't make time for that in my instruction. So I sort of use free draw time as an option for kids who want a drawing tutorial activity. That's where they can kind of pursue that. That's the only thing they use the iPads for, is YouTube drawing tutorials. So if they are just dying to do a tutorial on how to draw a dragon or how to draw an Among Us character, that kind of thing, this is a chance for them to do that. So they can work with partners or find other kids who have similar interests and kind of camp out in front of an iPad and do a step-by-step drawing tutorial. So that's it though. So I put out the supplies. I do present 3 rules. They cannot use the materials to make anything that resembles a weapon. Lots of little kiddos want to make swords. Can't do that. I do say that they can't make anything super creepy. I tell them I'm a scaredy cat and I don't want anything that's going to creep me out, and they're pretty respectful about that. And then I tell them no paper airplanes. Now that's something specific to my space because I have a lot of like high level kind of ledges and stuff, and they tend to want to throw them and they get stuck up there and then they get upset because I can't get it down for them, and then they've got nothing and they are disappointed by that. So that's very specific to my room. I'm curious if you have any other weird little rules that are specific to your space. But the only other rule is whatever they make on free draw day, they need to take with them out of the room. Now, my really littlest guys, they're so process oriented. They're just totally engaged while they're working. But then once they're done, they want to give their stuff to me. And I don't think that's, I don't let that go to my head or anything. I don't think it's because they love me. It's because they don't know what to do with the picture once it's done. They love to make it, but after that, its meaning has faded for them. So they like to give it to their mom, or they like to give it to me, or give it to their teacher. But they don't care as much about the product when they're done as the older kids do. The older kids, I tell them it's got to go because a lot of them will work in a group and they kind of start to make something big and 3-dimensional and involved. I don't have the space for it. So I'm like, you can start that here, but it's got to go at the end of the session. And they want, as long as you tell them that in advance, they seem to be okay with it. So that's it. Here's why my students seem to love it. They love that free draw days are child-centered. Of course, they don't call it that, but as opposed to my typical teacher-led sessions where I'm selecting the topic, the materials, the skills, the art history connection, Child-centered for them is really where they get to call the shots. They get to be their own art teacher. They get to decide, what they're going to focus on, and they get to sit with friends. They can work collaboratively. They can use the supplies in any way they want. They can focus on, whatever skills are interesting to them at that moment. And they like the idea of being able to take it that day. A make and take for them is a novelty, because for me, a lot of times it takes 3 or 4 sessions before we actually get done with something. So being able to take something home that day is exciting to them. Why I love it is that it gives me a chance to catch my breath, to kind of sit amongst them and get to know them a little bit and make some observations about what interests them, what characters do they like, what shows do they like, what songs are they talking and thinking about. I get to make some little observations about the social kind of dynamic in the room. I also get to notice little things like, are there certain kids who seem to be struggling with certain supplies, and it gives me a chance to kind of sit with them one-on-one and kind of work through whatever it is that they're finding challenging. And so that's, all stuff that can then inform my instruction on the teacher-led session. So that's kind of this weird little invisible, invaluable layer to Free Draw Day, is that it gives you as an instructor, me as an instructor, time to sort of like scan the room, make sure I'm kind of aware of the dynamic of this class, so that I can use that then when I am kind of, attempting to inform my instruction. So they love it. I love it. It's kind of like a win-win around my school. Free Draw Days, everybody loves Free Draw Days. I'm curious, how do you feel about Free Draw Days? Again, do you call it something else? Do you set it up a different way? Do you do it less frequently or more frequently? Is it only for substitutes, or what? Would love to hear your thoughts about Free Draw Day. That's it for this week. Hope you guys are well.